Hi, I'm Annalise Green,
Hi, I'm Melanie Fidani.
and we're here to talk to you about YANA. As it was YANA week last week, which stands for You Are Not Alone, we thought it was really important to talk about our personal experiences of why it's really, really important for mums to not feel alone, especially just after having a baby.
I've experienced it my first time round as being a mum. I didn't realise at the beginning of my after having my baby that I actually had postnatal depression. It's a really weird situation to be in, and because if I felt alone, I think it made things a lot worse. At the time, I didn't have many friends around me where I was living, and I did have one of my closest friends come and stay with me, which really helped at the beginning of everything, because that's when I eventually got diagnosed with postnatal depression. And it really hits home when you see other mums actually suffering with the same thing, even if they haven't had postnatal depression, that, you know, it does really affect you. You do need as many people as you can around you, especially at the time of just having a baby. We've both got very different sort of ideas on how we think, obviously, things may be able to progress. Obviously, we have different experiences completely. You're a mum of 4.
Yep.
I'm a mother of 2 plus 1 being brewed at the moment. So yeah, we would like to sort of just let you know, obviously, our experiences and yeah.
And I think it's really important to not shut yourself away. When I had my son, I felt myself getting the baby blues, which is completely normal. Do you know what? I don't know anybody who hasn't had the baby blues when they've had a baby.
I think a lot of people do experience baby blues.
Yeah.
It's just whether it goes from baby blues to
into depression or whether it just goes away. And I felt myself getting them, and I thought, okay, this can go 2 ways. I can either let the baby blues take over, lock myself away, which is what I wanted to do. I didn't feel confident enough to have people coming round because obviously you're tired, you don't look your best, you feel
You
rubbish.
always look fine.
I don't. You feel rubbish, and I made sure that I had one friend that I was really comfortable with. So I didn't mind her seeing me in my pyjamas with no makeup on and hair up here. I made sure that she was coming around every day, whether it was for an hour, whether it was all day, or whether it was just to pop in for a 10-minute cup of tea. I made sure that there was someone every single day so that I didn't go into a shell and stop talking to people and stop socialising. And luckily, that in that instance, it was just the baby blues, and it lasted for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I came out and I was fine. But I think had I have shut myself away, it would have been a lot harder to get over the baby blues and the sort of hormonal changes that, you know, go on in your body. With my daughter, which was 10 years ago now.
So long ago.
I know. I was very much on my own, actually, at the time. I was only 17. Of course, I had my partner, but friend-wise, I'd left the country the week after I finished school when I was 16. So I'd lost all of my friends that were the same age as me. And I had friends where we'd lived before, but we'd then come back to the UK. And so I didn't have anybody. I was very much on my own. And I could have gone and made new mum friends at groups and things, but I didn't quite feel confident enough because I was so young. I thought that they would judge me.
I think also living in a different country is a lot harder than, I think you don't know as much sort of where everything is.
Yeah, because for most of my pregnancy I had been abroad and then I came back, so I hadn't really had time to find out where things were. And yeah, I think I struggled a lot more because I felt like I was on my own, and obviously when my partner went out to work,
you were at home.
I was on my own.
Yeah, I did find that, especially when you do have your first, you kind of you wait, and it was to the point I was waiting, I was clock watching every day, wait until he would come home, just because I didn't want to feel alone, and my family,
looking after a
friends
baby. you know, your first baby, especially if you're young, is really daunting. It's a scary thing. You're in charge of somebody's life, you know. If you do something wrong, it's all on you, isn't
absolutely.
it? You know, so it's scary. So I think that really, really, really is important to not feel alone. And whether it's a family member or a friend or you know, even your partner, obviously they have to go out to work and stuff, but just make sure you talk to somebody about your feelings.
Even if you phone, if you're not able to go out, or your friends are not able to make it round, even just a pure text, you know, phone call, Skype, absolutely. Yeah. You just, that interaction, that just speaking to someone.
And about how you're feeling as well, because you should never ever ever feel embarrassed or ashamed of your feelings when you have a baby. Pregnancy and giving birth, your body goes through so much, and the hormones, you get like your body's going loopy.
Absolutely.
So anything you feel, anything is normal, and you can guarantee that somebody before you has felt that.
Absolutely.
100%. You're not alone, and what you're feeling is not just you. Everybody has different experiences, and even if all of your friends that you know were fine and didn't feel or said they didn't feel certain ways, someone else has. And there are Facebook groups and YouTube channels and
Channel Mum.
Yeah, all sorts of forums where you can talk to people who are experiencing or have experienced the same as you, and just talking about it
helps.
Makes it so much better. It makes life easier, and then you can realise you're not alone. And sometimes you need to, you know, something is wrong and you need some help, and other times it's just completely normal and you just have to wait it out, but talking about it always helps.
Yeah, I didn't know when I first had my child that I was suffering with postnatal depression. At first they kind of diagnosed it as possible baby blues, and it will last a month. But as soon as they gave me some tablets and I came off them, I did go back again, and it was then obviously determined that it was postnatal depression. And you know, I felt, I did feel at the time it's really hard. I mean, you're a mum. It's the first, it's the first time I've had a baby. I did feel like a failure, but you should never feel like a failure. It happens to a lot of people. It actually happened to my mum. With all 4 of my mum's children, she did suffer with it, and I think me the worst. So maybe that's why I may have suffered with it. And again, I suffered again with my second child. But I must admit, I didn't suffer as badly.
Because you knew what to look out for.
Yeah, I did know what to look out for. My husband knew what to look out for, and my other friends. And by this time, I'd actually made quite a few friends, one being yourself, because my eldest daughter was going to nursery. So that really helped. I mean, if you can make some friends from your children's nurseries, honestly, it's the best thing for you, because even just that, when you're picking them up, just speaking to someone for that 5-10 minutes while you're waiting for your children.
And if you're a first time mum, there's baby massage groups and even the health visitor clinics, you know, you go to weigh the babies, there's other mums there. I know sometimes it can be really daunting and scary, but if you just strike up a conversation with the mum next to you, they're probably feeling the same as you, and they probably want someone to talk to as well. And if it is a health visitor clinic, then they probably live quite local to you as well, which helps. You know, you can go for walks together to the park and just sit and have a chat, or go around each other for a cup of tea.
It's so good just to. I know it's daunting, and it is really, really daunting. I must admit, I did shut myself away probably more than I should have with my first.
It's easy to do.
And yeah, you do. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're a first-time mum, you don't know what to expect, do you?
No, you really don't.
It's a new thing to you at the end of the day.
You expect to give birth and have a baby and be
everything
back
be
to
fine.
normal. Like, straight away. You just expect that that's going to happen. You don't realise that things can go on in your head that are totally unrelated to anything. You know, your body is doing its own thing.
Yeah, you want to fit back into those jeans, which took me a very, very, very long time.
No comment.
Yeah. You're fine. You're absolutely fine.
But
again, everyone experiences things differently. I mean, our births were completely different.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm now 5 months pregnant nearly, and to be honest, like, yes, it does scare me going through it all again. And yes, I am kind of worried that am I gonna, have a problem with postnatal depression. But I think because I know I've got such a good friendship group around me, Annalise being one herself, I think like it's not as daunting as it.
It's not as scary because
No.
you know that we'll be looking out for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know yourself what to look out for. You know that if we notice something,
that everyone's going to keep an eye out. Absolutely.
Yeah, and also the other thing is, you know that if that does happen, that you can go to the doctors and you know that it will make you feel better.
To be honest, I think it has been in my notes, so obviously the midwives and the health visitors will be able to help with that. But I think the main thing is I need to know myself that I cannot shut myself away because of things like that. Again,
we'll be round for those baby cuddles.
Oh, absolutely, they need to be. Absolutely need to be. So we thought we'd obviously have a chat about obviously you're not alone because it is such an important thing.
It really is.
It makes such a difference in your life, whether it's your third, whether it's your sixth child, whether it's your first child. You just have to really try as much as you possibly can not to shut yourself away and think you're the only one that's experienced this, because I know from my experience that there are other mums out there that may have gone through exactly what you have, may have gone through some of it, and shutting yourself away just can unfortunately make things a lot worse.
It does make it worse.
If you are going to the school runs, try and hit up a conversation with the person next to you.
That's what we did, isn't it?
Absolutely. And now we've been friends for about 4 years, maybe longer now. 4 years.
Yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, you never know, like a friendship, how close you can end up having a friendship with the person that's standing right next to you.
Yeah.
And it's a really good thing. I mean, as much as you possibly can go into baby groups. I know some of them, obviously, if you can't afford them, there are some, obviously, that are free. Just have to look around.
Your local, what's the service called?
I can't remember now. Direct Gov and things like that, or...
Yeah, the health visitor.
Yeah, the health visitor
Is it
will actually
services? It might be children's services or something like that. If you, if you Google it for your local area...
Facebook sites.
Yeah, it should show you where your local health visitor clinic is. In fact, the midwives and health visitors, when they come round, they should tell you anyway.
I think they give you a leaflet, because I remember rightly they gave me a leaflet.
Like a sheet.
Yeah.
And so on there, those ones are free. And you can go there and just talk to somebody. Even if you talk to the health visitor at first, actually. The health visitor might then introduce you to another mum who's maybe said the same thing to them. Or
they might even know someone that lives right next door to you that you didn't even realise had a baby.
Yeah.
It's just a good idea that... I know it's so hard to say, but just please don't ever lock yourself away. Don't ever feel like you're alone, because there are other mums that really experience exactly the same and probably have a very similar feeling inside themselves of, I'm really kind of like, I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm so alone. There's no one around me. A lot of people feel exactly the same, and we both have experienced it in different ways. And
I've had 4 pregnancies, 4 babies, 4 incredibly different experiences. I thought that it would all be the same as the first one. I thought I knew it all.
Never.
Completely wrong. Every single time has been completely different. My body has reacted differently. My hormones have been different. My labour experiences and births have been completely different. You can't know how your body's gonna react, and that's fine. That's completely normal. It doesn't mean you failed at anything. It doesn't mean that you're not as good as you were.
As well.
It's just how it is, But as long as you've got support, and make sure that you're not alone, then you'll be fine. You'll get through it, and you'll be good.
Absolutely. And obviously I've had 2 different experiences of labour, of carrying, and this is my third time round, and mine is really, again, quite a lot different. Obviously labour, I haven't experienced that quite yet, so we'll obviously go into that later on. But thank you ever so much for listening, and we'll say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.